in the confines of the law. That's what I think.
All right, interesting. So, Wakili, as you come in, reading what Amnesty International had to say about the president's words, they say that it constituted a threat to people involved in court cases over ownership and control of Mumias Sugar Company. So I guess my question to you as the lawyer in the panel, is there a chance of a threat being posed to the judicial arm of government in terms of due process of the law being followed to the logical conclusion from where you sit?
Thank you very much. You know, before we even get to the law itself, I mean, let's be bluntly honest with ourselves. You cannot say, and I worry deeply when I see Mr. Mutuma here telling us that the president wants to fight corruption. You cannot say that you're out to fight corruption when a huge section of your cabinet first had to have corruption cases against themselves dropped. Kakistocracy is a system of government where you have not the most qualified, not the best people within the country running the government. We wanted a meritocratic government. We wanted a government where the people who have first been selected to cabinet are people who you would say are people of integrity. But now we are having a challenge. First and foremost, you tell us you're fighting corruption. Then we look at your cabinet. I mean, Mithika Linturi once told us that he has 33 cases to his name. He said it himself. In fact, he said it's an understatement to say that he has court cases. He has 33 of them. And some of them were criminal in nature, and they were all dropped. I think if we are going to fight corruption in this country, let us begin by not having no sacred cows. But you cannot say mambo ni matatu, and then cabinet has got some sacred people whose corruption cases were immediately dropped when they were appointed cabinet secretaries. This, in the view of every Kenyan, is unfair. If cases are going to be dropped, this is a bottom-up economy. It's a country where they are saying that they are going to start with the least in the society, coming up towards the most ones who are. Ni wangapi wameiba kuku za wenyewe ambao cases zao they were dropped? How many people do we know who stole a sufuria or who have a case of a simple assault? They beat the wife one slap, and I'm not supporting gender-based violence, and today they are wallowing in cells. Yet we have cabinet secretaries who had grave accusations and allegations against themselves. So, and even in the Bible, it is wrong when you come and have one set of rules for the rich and another set of rules for the poor. So what is happening in this country? Before you even talk of fighting corruption, let us look at cabinet. If we are going to fight corruption, let us open it. Let us start with the richest. Let us start with the most proficient people. Look at a name like Goldenberg, and you look at some of the people who were mentioned in Goldenberg and the positions they hold in this government today. Look at Anglo Leasing. Some of those names are still in this government. So we cannot talk of fighting corruption when we have in cabinet people who have got their names stuck right in the middle of it. We have to start thinking of fighting corruption by starting from the center and saying anybody who holds a public position and has been implicated in corruption must first step aside so that Kenyans can see that this is a fair fight. But in my opinion right now, it doesn't look fair. It is skewed towards a few.
In terms of the legal aspect, just briefly.
Now, legally, my good friend, he started by saying, na hatuta entertain kesi kotini. Watoe hizo kesi kotini. You know, when you tell people to remove a case from court, the judiciary is not supposed to take instructions from anybody. If anything, it was wrong for the head of state. And I think that is one part that he needed correction. It was wrong for the head of state to tell people to withdraw their cases from court. That is not within his jurisdiction. I think if these people are guilty, who determines that someone is guilty of corruption? It is the courts. The courts should have taken the whole process. It should have gone through due process, and then somebody should have been convicted, and then now we can say there's a process. And if you allow me, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta once said, "Munataka nifanye nini?" And people called him a lame duck president. But do you know why? He looked at what you are looking at today, and he realized that if I do anything outside of this constitution, it will be extrajudicial. If you tell people wahame Kenya, that is contrary to the Bill of Rights. If you tell people wataenda jela, they have to go through the due process section, Article 20 within the Bill of Rights. They have to go through due process. And if you tell Kenyans that waende binguni, we don't go in our physical bodies. So if you volunteer to kill yourself, you can be accused of attempted suicide. Actually, it's provided for in the penal code. Okay. So we do not have an opportunity for those three within our law.
Interesting.